Part of these reds were probably.
Thanks for joining me this week on Hoyt's Bowhunting Whitetails. Behind me you're going to see a trailer and a truck that are full of acorns. These have got to go into the ground over the next day and a half as we continue to create whitetail habitat on the old pasture on this farm. We'll bring you the details of this project on a Dream Farm episode, but on the rest of today's episode we're going to go back and we're going to look at how things played out on this cold front. We talked about it a little bit on Wednesday in the Whitetail Watch episode about this coming front and how aggressively we felt like made sense to hunt. Our guys, for the most part, were careful, didn't go deep into the cover, hunted fringe areas. I talked to some friends and I noticed on social media that some people had some really good success over these past 2 days, but we did not see a lot of buck movement. Ethan hunted and the two interns both hunted. And I didn't. I was here getting this project going, and then Jordan had a running event in Des Moines this morning. So we were there for that, and that was pretty cool. We'll show you some highlights from that right now.
Ready to rock and roll.
Okay, on your marks, get set, go! Good job, Jordan. Keep it going. Keep moving. Stay relaxed. Good job.
There you go, Jordan, almost done. There you go. Good job, girl.
17, 18, 17, 17, maybe.
Official time?
Yeah, it'll be right around 17:20. I've been trying to run a new PR for like 3 years now, and so I did it today. Previously my PR was like 17:48, and today I think it was right around 17:20. I haven't seen the official results yet, but perfect day. Couldn't have asked for better weather. It was a really fast field. I'm pretty happy with it.
Now, let's dive into the updates. Like I said, we've got updates from the interns, from Ethan, from myself. I go over one of the new spots that I'm going to be hunting. That was back on Wednesday when I hunted that spot. And then Cody Butler from Nebraska and Kansas is going to update on his season that's coming up. Hoyt's Bowhunting Whitetails is brought to you by Redneck Blinds, Code of Silence Apparel, Hunt Stand Pro Whitetail, Fuse Accessories, Elevate Tree Stands, B3 Releases and Broadheads, and Hoyt. Spot where this kind of raised levee goes around the corner of that cornfield and over to that turnip patch. And I do think, even though there's a pretty good trail here, we need to be where we can cover this trail and the deer that cut around that corner. So we need to go further that direction. It's a cool spot. The deer come around the corner of this cornfield, and then there's a wintergreens plot to my right, back to the, like I said, be north, and then to the south there's a little spur, a little secondary ridge that runs right down to that food plot on the bottom that we walked past when we were coming in. This may not be a great hunt right now, but before the season's over with, we're gonna have some good action right here, and we're gonna kill at least a bunch of does, if not one of those 2 bucks. Both of those bucks that I'm after have spent time in this area, bordering on daylight. So late October, this could be a hot spot for us. We haven't seen any deer this evening. Beautiful. I mean, I think it's probably in the 60s, you say? Yeah. Really comfortable. Bugs are not bad. Nice light breeze. Really, this is what October is all about. Ethan and I were talking about it, and I think I'm obsessed with October now. My blood is getting thinner, and these days like this sure feel nice.
Well, it's about 4 o'clock here, and Carson and I came in today just for the first sit in electric pinch this year. There's a couple different bucks that have been showing up, and pretty frequently actually. The last time we kind of talked about it in the whitetail watch, but like the 25th or the 26th, we had 2 mature bucks come in here, hit the scrape right below the stand, so we decided to take advantage of this cold front. It's a perfect stand to get in and out like we talked about and hunt these deer. Carson has got his bow on a stand because if one of those bucks walks out, he was happily willing to take one. So he's excited. He's been wanting to come in here and sit this stand, and so have I. It's an awesome spot. But like I said, it's the first cold front in October. We've kind of been debating, is it worth it? Is it worth hunting? Is it worth, saving your stands? But I guess we're going to find out tonight. Well, time is winding down here on Carson and I's hunt tonight, and I guess that answers the question about these early October cold fronts. Like we talked about, it's lull versus the cold front, and tonight, lull 1, it's really a polar opposite tonight than what it was last night. And I really don't know the answer to that. Last night we had deer moving everywhere, bucks coming in to the base of the tree, and it was a really, really good sit. And tonight with the pressure rising, and I really thought it was going to be a really good sit. We weren't able to see hardly any deer after 5 o'clock when we had a doe and a fawn walk in, but lesson learned. We continue into the season. Hopefully, I haven't looked at the weather this week, but hopefully we get some more cold fronts and we get some more chances to come out and hunt. Tonight is October 5th. I'm out here doing a solo hunt, and I'm set up on that same cornfield that Alex and I were set up on a few nights ago. I just changed stand locations, as tonight we have a west wind, so I sat on the east side tonight, and I'm hoping that a few of those does do the same thing they did, and I think tonight we'll be in the chips. But it's a little bit windy, as you can tell, but the temperature has dropped off about 15 to 20 degrees compared to the last few days, as today's highs were in the mid-60s, which is pretty nice. It feels a little bit more like fall, and I'm excited to see what the night brings here. We'll see what we can capture tonight, as I'm doing the filming and the shooting by myself, but we won't shoot unless we got good footage, so we're just gonna sit tight here for the next few hours and see if any deer filter out to this cornfield.
quick. I was actually just doing a pan of the field, and I looked behind me, and a couple does were coming in pretty fast. And I was kind of scrambling around because my camera battery was about to die, and I was switching between cameras and trying to get the GoPro on. So I finally got the camera spun around and finally turned it on. And by this time she was 15 yards from me, and drew back, put it right behind the shoulder, and that B3 broadhead really did some damage. She didn't go 30-40 yards. You know, she ran straight down the hill right to the field, which is good because I can just drag her right up the edge of this field and no damage done. But man, that's exciting. I came in here about 3:30 by myself. Everybody else was out hunting tonight. I couldn't just sit on the couch and wait for a call saying somebody else shot one tonight. So I decided to come out here to a spot that Alex and I had sat a few nights before, and we saw a bunch of deer, just could never connect on them. They just never came quite where we needed them to. So tonight we had a little bit different wind, and I decided to set up on the opposite side of this cornfield. I was sitting there, and I had videoed some turkeys and started to do a pan of the field as the sun was setting, and it was just a picture perfect night so far. And too bad I couldn't share this hunt with anybody else, but it's still fun to be in the woods and get the first shot out of the way of the year, because it just builds your confidence up and gets you ready for the rut and hopefully be able to put a big buck down. But I think that's gonna wrap it up for tonight. Hopefully I'll cook some fresh backstraps for the boys tonight. Nice. Told you we were getting one this morning. Well, it's only 7 o'clock, and we had these deer around us since before light, so we weren't able to do an opening interview. Just 2 big does came in together and were within like 60 yards of us for about a half hour, and eventually just worked in perfect. That's awesome. Jacked. We have been grinding. It has been such a struggle. We've only seen 4 deer in 7 hunts. Or this is hunt 7, so 4 deer in 6 hunts. Between squirrel hunting, pressure, and everything. And how about that? 2 does and 2 hunts for us. Let's go.
Well, we found her. She's a nice big girl, definitely a mature animal. She's probably 3, 4, 5 years old, big bodied deer. So super tickled with her. Like I said, with as rough of season we've had so far, I mean, we've put miles after miles on the boots here, walking around, scouting, running cameras, and you know, not knowing anything about this place. We originally started hunting this property hoping to access through the permission and hunt some of the public land around, just to get in there better through the permission ground. But we also had access to hunt the permission, and we've just been bouncing around trying to figure out where the deer are. And this morning we decided to try this little secluded corner of the permission ground that's bordered by the neighbors and public land. And we had a great hunt. Saw a bunch of deer. First deer I've shot out of state. I've never shot a deer not in Michigan, so this is really cool. It's a pretty cool experience, and to be able to do it with Carson. We're both obviously interning for Hoyt's Bowhunting Whitetails for the year, and he shot a doe last night and I shot this one this morning. So pretty cool that we're finally starting to get some things rolling, and hopefully that leads to a really good season ahead of us. It should be a really fun fall, but I'm happy to wrap my doe tag around this big girl, and we'll come up here sporadically and you know, try to get a shot at a buck. But for now, we're gonna enjoy it. We got a lot of work to do to get her up out of here, and it's about probably a mile and a half, 2 miles back to the truck and then get her cleaned up. So a lot of work ahead of us, but really fun morning in the Minnesota deer woods.
How's it going, guys? Hope you're all doing well. I'm out here on my home farm in Nebraska today. We're getting a few tree stands hung and set and ready for a cold front that is coming next week. And I'm hoping to get myself, maybe my wife or my dad, on a good buck here that we have on our home farm in Nebraska. That being said, I wanted to give you guys an update on myself, how season's going. It's been open here in the state of Nebraska and in Kansas for the last few weeks. We've had some encounters. I myself actually had an encounter with one of my shooter bucks in Kansas just the other day, so I'm going to show you some footage of that. But I also wanted to tell you guys that my buddy Will Cooper from Hunt Stand was here just a couple weeks ago. He was hunting with me in the state of Kansas. I cannot believe he killed a deer with me that we call 9 lives. We call this deer 9 lives because nobody seems to be able to kill him. And he's 7 years old. Will shows up in camp this year. It's the first time we were able to get him out to Kansas. He drew a tag this year, and he ends up killing 9 lives on the very first day of season, the very first hunt that he had here in the state of Kansas. Shoots him over a water hole I had in a Whitetail Institute food plot. I'm so happy for him. Ended up being the biggest buck he's ever shot, 153-inch 8-pointer in full velvet. Couldn't believe it. September 11th, we usually do not have very many deer in full velvet. 9 lives comes in, shoots him at 20 yards over a water hole, and the rest is history. If you guys would like to check out that hunt, be sure to go over to the Hunt Stand YouTube page. They're going to have a Hunt Stand original film over there eventually, so keep checking that out, and hopefully soon they have that film up and you guys can check it out. It's a really cool hunt. But back to me here, guys. I've been doing some hunting with the Hoyt Satori. I've only been out about 3 times on just a few really good days. I've had a couple encounters. I actually passed a really nice 6-pointer, a mature buck, opening day of season. I also had an encounter with a buck that I'm hunting, a really big mainframe 8-pointer with a split brow tine. He's also got a really nice kind of dagger point coming off of his base. Big mature 5-year-old buck that I'm really hoping to get on this year. He's a really cool deer. Had an encounter with him, kind of a crazy situation, so we'll go to that footage right now. Guys, I'm getting set up here. I can't film him. The buck that I'm after tonight just come out of the beans. I don't know where in the world. I'm pretty sure he just came out, guys. Just came out in the top plot up here, I'm pretty positive. He's an absolute tank of an 8-pointer. So guys, as you saw there, close encounter, ran out of light. The deer ended up coming down pretty close to me and then working his way out into the bean field. I was able to slip out of there without spooking him. He's still being fairly regular in there, but it's been showing up a little bit later now. We've had some warmer weather, so I'm hoping maybe this cold front coming in next week, I can slip back in there and maybe get on him and get an arrow in him with the Hoyt Satori. We'll have to wait and see. I've got several other good bucks to hunt this year, but there's 2 big mainframe 8-pointers that I'm hunting this year. I'll show you guys some pictures of those. But the 2 top ones on my list right now, I've got a big triple drop tine mainframe 10-pointer with triple drops on one side. And then I've got another big mainframe 10-pointer on another farm that's got like a big 12-inch drop on one side. So those are kind of my 2 main bucks. But then I do have these two really big 8-pointers as well that I'm hunting. So I'll keep you guys updated. Hopefully we can get an arrow in one of them soon. We'll see you next time, guys. God bless.
All right, well, that's it for this week. I appreciate you joining us. I think the coming week looks about like today. Highs in the low 60s, upper 50s. There's supposed to be some rain coming in on Wednesday and Thursday, so that's going to play into our hunting just a little bit. But it's still early. You know, I've always said October is not November. Well, once we get to the end of October, it starts to feel an awful lot like November. But we're not there yet. Well, I appreciate you joining me. We'll see you right back here again in another week for the next episode of Hoyt's Bowhunting Whitetails. And remember to always dream big.